Once in a lifetime, or so we thought. What's up, guys? It's me, the ALE XX Prince, and I'm here to give you my review of WrestleMania 28. Um, yeah, WrestleMania 28. I chose this one because I remember when I heard that John Cena and The Rock were gonna fight. I said to myself, I'm there. I wish it came sooner. I've never been this pumped for a match in my entire life. Keep in mind, we haven't even seen it yet. We didn't know how ready was The Rock. We saw the Never Before Never Again when Cena and Rock team up. Miz and R-Truth were pretty bad opponents for those guys, but this was a pretty solid show. And it was built up around one match, which eventually was built up against another match, the end of an era. And then there's a third match that did the show good. It was basically a three match show. Everything else was not that great. One moment was better because of what happened afterwards. And that was, of course, the beginning of the show. The 18 seconds. Yes. Sheamus and Daniel Bryan had a match. Now, at WrestleMania 27, this match was supposed to happen for the U.S. belt. They got cut off, and they just changed it to a Battle Royal. They were both disappointed because they knew they could have thrown a greater match. They had this match, basically, for the World Heavyweight Championship, so there was no excuse not to have this match. And what happens? 18 seconds. At the time, Daniel Bryan was in a storyline with AJ Lee, how they were dating. They were in that storyline, but Daniel Bryan would kiss AJ Lee as it went on. And then he, before the matches, this time he gives a kiss to AJ, turns around to a brogue kick. Sheamus pins him 1, 2, 3, 18 seconds. That was it. It was a quick squash. We hated this moment for Daniel Bryan. We saw this, we're like, damn, this is bullshit. Sheamus wins the World Heavyweight Championship. He doesn't deserve it. He doesn't need it. And then 2 years later happened, which, spoiler alert, is the next WrestleMania I'll be talking about. Daniel Bryan, this is one of those rare moments where something horrible became something great. Because Daniel Bryan, people say this made him, because I remember Daniel Bryan was over with the whole yes chance. He just started, I remember Daniel Bryan was a heel. He kept going yes, and people were starting to mock him, or so he thought. But the real reason is because he was over, and they took advantage of that. They became his thing, and eventually Daniel Bryan got himself over, despite him being with teaming up with Kane and Team Hell in a Cell, which wasn't a bad tag team. It's just a weird combination, which kind of worked for instance, even though, we were in the PG era where everything was just so fucking goofy and stupid. 2012 was a pretty shitty year. Only like 2 men helped it, and one of them being Daniel Bryan, the other one CM Punk. Yeah, those two saved 2012 from being one of the worst. It still was a pretty shitty year. But yeah, Daniel Bryan, even though he got squashed, this became his big moment at WrestleMania 30, which I'll talk about, and I can't wait to talk about that one because I got a lot to say. Next match, Kane defeated Randy Orton. I forgot what these two were feuding. They were just thrown together. Kane, I guess, chokeslams Randy Orton because, Randy Orton had to be on the show for some reason. It was an interesting ending to the match, I'll say this. It wasn't a bad match. It was actually kind of okay. Kane chokeslams Randy Orton from the top rope. He jumps with him, and he wins the match. It wasn't that bad. You expect this to be a horrible match. It actually was okay for me. I still get the sense that it should have been, personally, for better story. I wouldn't have minded seeing Randy Orton on the Team Teddy, Team John Laurinaitis match. Replace Randy Orton with Zack Ryder. That storyline would have at least been a little bit better, and at least it will culminate. And instead, it culminates on the Over the Limit pre-show. At the time they didn't have pre-shows, they began it right after this one. But yeah, I think it should have been Zack Ryder and Kane. At least that finishes off the storyline, but whatever. Then we had, oh, this is bullshit. Big Show winning the Intercontinental Championship from Cody Rhodes. This was just bullshit. They completely ruined Cody Rhodes' moment. But knowing the storyline, you knew Big Show was going to win the belt because of how the storyline was that Big Show never received this big moment, which no one gave a shit anyways. And Cody Rhodes was on a roll. He made that IC belt feel unique. First of all, he brought back the original belt, which was awesome. He had good matches, some okay-ish ones. Like, I mean, his Booker T matches were a bit disappointing, but I mean, it's whatever. I mean, you know, Cody Rhodes was definitely becoming the Cody Rhodes we all love today. And sadly, they dropped the ball because now he's in Japan and now he's feuding with the YWC OTRS Central. Remember that? I'll just not get into that just because I don't want to get in trouble or start drama with anybody. But regardless, they picked the wrong match. I know Big Show was supposed to fight Shaquille O'Neal on this WrestleMania. It didn't happen. Instead, we just threw this match, and I don't know. What was the point of him losing the belt? He's going to win it back at Extreme Rules. If anything, I know Christian was injured, so I'm pretty sure they would have gone with that match. I don't know what the hell they were thinking. It was just a random fucking match. It was bullshit. I didn't like it. Kelly and Maria Menounos defeated Beth Phoenix and Eve. Now, I get that they like celebrities on the show. And Maria Menounos, I remember this. She was on Dancing with Stars or Dancing with the Stars, whatever the show's called. And she got injured when she botched, I guess, a dance move. And so she couldn't really wrestle in this match. So I would have just had Kelly versus Beth Phoenix for the Divas Championship with one corner on the other. Or at least get the belt off Beth Phoenix and do Eve Torres because she was red hot. After breaking up with Zack Ryder and doing that Hoski broski shit, which was, I still can't believe they did Zack Ryder like that. It was bullshit. If anything, actually, now that I think about it, they should have done a mixed tag team match with Zack Ryder. Look at how many great ideas I have. I got a lot of ideas, and they are much better than the mid-card matches we had here. What if we did Zack Ryder and Maria Menounos or Kelly, whichever you pick, versus Eve Torres and a new person on managing with her, like a Cody Rhodes. Actually, that's a perfect example. Cody Rhodes and Eve Torres, because I think Eve and Cody Rhodes, their chemistry would actually be kind of perfect. We have Zack Ryder and Kelly on the other hand, or Maria Menounos, and you have a much, much better match for the show. Damn. I'm writing this show a lot better. But yeah, I feel like this show overall was just great. Because of 3 matches, and this is the first one that I'm going to talk about, and it's personally my match of the night. Triple H, Undertaker, Hell in a Cell, the end of an era, with special guest referee Shawn Michaels. I think it made sense. This needed to be as big as it needed to be. First of all, I didn't want to see Triple H and Undertaker fight again, but the moment they say Hell in a Cell, I'm in. And then special guest referee Shawn Michaels. This is a culmination of a 4-part series in WrestleMania history. It started off with that epic clash with Undertaker and Shawn Michaels at the 25th anniversary of WrestleMania, even though it's not the 25th anniversary of WrestleMania. Then the show I attended to, Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker, WrestleMania 26. Shawn Michaels' career was over. Triple H is Shawn Michaels' best friend. He believed he could beat The Undertaker, beats him, loses. And then Undertaker, even though Triple H lost the match, he's the only one to walk on his feet. Undertaker begs Triple H to fight him and bring the best to him and prove that he could beat him. And then the moment he calls out Shawn Michaels that Shawn Michaels was better than Triple H, Triple H said, you know what, you're on Hell in a Cell, let's go. They didn't really use the cell, but it needed to be there just to make this match big. And it was. This was an incredible match. Great storytelling. People like to say everything is overrated. I don't give a shit. This was 5 stars. This was amazing match. I loved the match. It was just a really great match. I really enjoyed it. Match of the night for me. The story was there. One of my favorite spots was when Shawn Michaels switching music's Undertaker, and then Triple H hits a pedigree. The conversations with Shawn Michaels and Undertaker. Something that I realized, Shawn Michaels is the genius when it comes to wrestling. He knows how to tell a great story, and he knows whether or not he should have a match. Like, example, AJ Styles and Shawn Michaels is a match we've been dying to see. But Shawn Michaels decided to not have that match because who goes over? He comes back from retirement just to bury another talent, or does he come back just for a one-off appearance just cause? So Shawn Michaels is a genius when it comes to storytelling and the way the stuff works. And he proved that here again when he kept talking about Undertaker, don't end the streak, and it was like, who the fuck is gonna beat the Undertaker? We'll get to WrestleMania 30 when I get to WrestleMania 30. But yeah, this was just a great story. It's just a great match. I enjoyed it. And my favorite moment was seeing Undertaker, Triple H, and Undertaker and Shawn Michaels holding Triple H, all three of them standing tall. That was just a great moment. People were cheering on for them. This was just great. And keep in mind, people were building up John Cena and The Rock to be the best match of all time. This surpassed it. This was... Cena and The Rock was nothing compared to this. This was just one of my favorite matches of all time. And for those people who say it's overrated, fuck it, it's underrated. No one talks about this match anymore. No one, and I can see why, because it's not the end of an era. That's why. But damn, this was just a great match. I really enjoyed it. Next match, Team Teddy Long versus Team John Laurinaitis. Winner controls both Raw and SmackDown. Team Johnny won after The Miz pins Zack Ryder. So they did a good job on building up Zack Ryder, but it was just really, really stupid that Eve Torres was on the corner of Zack Ryder, yet she was still a heel in the previous match with Kelly. It was just so fucking stupid. Yeah, 2012 was a really stupid ass year when it comes to writing shit. Then we had the WWE Championship match. CM Punk and Chris Jericho, the best in the world versus the best in the world. This was a great match, great build-up. It started slow, and then it picked up at the end. And I miss when matches do that, when they don't completely waste their load on one part. And I really like that this match happened right after John Laurinaitis became the GM, because he's like, if you lose that, you'll lose that belt if you get disqualified, because that continued on the show, because CM Punk really wanted to beat the shit out of Chris Jericho after talking about his wife with substance abuse, his dad with alcohol, and his sister with drug addicts, and how he was a bastard legally. So CM Punk just had it. He wanted to beat the shit out of him. But however, Chris Jericho just played mind games, because Chris Jericho is a great heel. He's a much better heel than a face, and people don't notice that. I think Chris Jericho has always been better as a heel. He's had better matches as a heel than a face. But yeah, this was just great. Slow, but then it picked up at the end. I remember CM Punk was going to do the Hurricane Rana on Chris Jericho, but then Chris Jericho catches him in the walls of Jericho. That was a great moment. CM Punk making Jericho tap out at the end. CM Punk's the best in the world. CM Punk was the only good thing about 2012, even though it wasn't that great. I'm going to be real with you guys. I loved CM Punk's title run. Him having great matches with Jericho, Bryan, Cena. You can say what you want about Ryback, but once he turned heel, he just became a bitch, and he just sucked. And especially it got worse when The Rock took the belt from him, and he didn't even main event WrestleMania 29, but that's a whole different story for a whole different time. Anyways, this match was good. I really enjoyed it. It was a great match. If you want to say a match is overrated, I think this is one of those where I could kind of agree with you guys. Because overrated doesn't mean bad. It just means it wasn't as great as everybody says it was. However, Jericho and Punk had much better matches at Payback 2013, Extreme Rules 2012. So, and they even had a much better match. I remember this. The following year, they had a match. They had a match on Raw. It was vote for a previous WrestleMania opponent for CM Punk to fight. It was either Rey Mysterio, Randy Orton, or Chris Jericho. They voted for Chris Jericho, and that match was actually a lot better than this one. So, I mean, I think Jericho and Punk just got better as they went on, and that's just saying a lot. And I really appreciated these two guys' talents. Now we get to the once-in-a-lifetime experience. Now, when I was a kid, I remember watching WrestleMania 27. I was with you guys. It was fucking awful. But then I've heard Cena Rock WrestleMania 28 at WrestleMania. So I had to wait a whole year. This has never been done before. A match where generations collide once in a lifetime, even though it became twice in a lifetime the following year. So fuck you, WWE, for making me think it was a once-in-a-lifetime experience. We had MGK singing and then bring in Cena. And then Flo Rida brings in The Rock singing. I mean, this was just built up pretty decent. They took a break because The Rock is a Hollywood star, so he left. And John Cena called him out for that, which is kind of funny now that he's a star leaving the WWE and coming every once in a while. So I find that funny. So yeah, Cena, Rock, the first time it happened, people were debating, is Cena going to beat The Rock in his hometown? And originally Cena was going to turn heel after losing to The Rock. He was going to be like, fuck this, you guys cheer The Rock, yet I'm here all the time. He was going to be the perfect heel, but they didn't do it. They didn't pull the trigger, and they fucking failed. Now let's talk about the actual match. I love the match. It was a great match. A once-in-a-lifetime experience. It was an awesome match. Even Cena admits that the second match was awful, but this one was just incredible. His favorite match he's done. So it was just a great match, great back and forth. The experience was there. The back and forth, even though there was a big rest hold, like a big bear hug, which is weird. And then it ends kind of cool. Cena does this, the people's elbow, and then The Rock catches him with a rock bottom, beats him. It was an interesting ending, but it worked. I enjoyed it. It was a great moment. It was a great match, and a great culmination to WrestleMania. Overall, great show for 3 matches. But that's about it. I mean, I don't know. For WrestleMania, it's gonna be hard to have WrestleManias where you have every match delivered one by one. People rely on that, but sometimes moments catch it, and I'll talk about that when I get to WrestleMania 30. But I don't know. The problem with this is that it took place in the PG era, which is the worst era of all time. I don't give a shit. But yeah. That's my opinion. Next up, WrestleMania 30. I already spoiled it a lot because it's time to talk about where I was during the Yes movement. Till then, I'm out. Subscribe. I'm the Double X Prince.